Have you ever had that uncomfortable feeling that something is not right with someone you know? Maybe a chill down your spine when they enter the room, or a persistent doubt that won't go away no matter how hard you try to ignore it. In today's video, we will explore 15 clear signs that may indicate you are dealing with a bad person. Stay until the end because the last one is the most shocking. These are not just occasional negative behaviors. They are consistent patterns that can reveal someone's true nature. Get ready to dive into a topic that is as intriguing as it is vital for our emotional well-being and interpersonal relationships. We will uncover these signs supported by Stoic wisdom, which teaches us not only to recognize but also to deal with other people's negativity in a way that protects our inner peace and keeps our integrity intact. Are you ready to open your eyes and maybe see the world a little more clearly now? If you are new here, please like the video and subscribe. Statistics show that only 15% of my audience is subscribed to the channel, so if this content has helped you in any way, I ask you to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Now, let's start this transformative journey together. Sign 1. Constant criticism. Facing constant criticism can be a clear indicator that you are dealing with a bad person. This type of behavior is not about offering constructive feedback or helping personal growth. It is persistent negative criticism aimed at diminishing someone's confidence and self-esteem. When someone is always pointing out your mistakes without ever acknowledging your successes or efforts, it can be a sign of toxicity. For example, imagine a coworker who always finds faults in your presentations even when everyone else seems satisfied, or a partner who constantly criticizes your appearance or choices, making you feel inadequate or incapable. These constant criticisms are often used as a control tool. By making you doubt your abilities and worth, the toxic person can exert more power over you. This behavior is deliberately designed to make you feel dependent on their approval, creating a vicious cycle that is hard to break. Moreover, constant criticism can be a way for the bad person to project their own insecurities. By criticizing others, they may try to divert attention from their own flaws or make their problems seem smaller in comparison. This is particularly common in competitive environments where putting others down might seem like a way to stand out. Remember, healthy criticism is balanced and aimed at supporting growth. It is specific, constructive, and usually followed by suggestions on how to improve. If you constantly find yourself on the receiving end of negative comments that offer no path for improvement, it is a strong indication that you might be dealing with a malicious person. Recognizing this pattern is the first step in taking measures to protect your emotional and mental well-being. Sign 2. Lack of empathy. A lack of empathy is a revealing sign that you might be dealing with a bad person. Empathy is the ability to understand and share another person's feelings, and it is crucial for healthy and constructive human relationships. When someone consistently shows a lack of consideration for others' feelings, it can indicate a problematic character. For instance, imagine you share a difficult experience with a friend, hoping for support or understanding. Instead of offering comfort or solidarity, this person quickly changes the subject or minimizes your feelings, suggesting you are exaggerating or that your problem is not that serious. This kind of response shows a clear lack of empathy and can leave you feeling alone and misunderstood. Another manifestation of a lack of empathy can be seen in conflict or stress situations. A person who lacks empathy may react to conflicts with coldness or even cruelty, ignoring the emotional effects of their words and actions on others. In work environments, for example, a boss who never considers their employees' personal circumstances when making demands or giving criticism is exhibiting a worrying lack of empathy. The inability to recognize and respond appropriately to others' emotional needs not only harms personal relationships but also creates a toxic environment where trust and cooperation are hard to establish. This can lead to a cycle of negativity and resentment, affecting everyone involved. It's important to distinguish between someone who occasionally seems distant or disconnected due to stress or personal issues and someone who consistently shows a lack of empathy. In cases of persistent lack of empathy, it's crucial to consider the long-term implications for your emotional well-being and possibly take steps to protect yourself from harmful influences. Recognizing a lack of empathy in someone you interact with regularly is essential for understanding the dynamics of the relationship and making informed decisions on how to manage these interactions in a way that preserves your emotional health. Sign 3. Frequent lies. One of the clearest signs that you might be dealing with a bad person is the habit of lying frequently. Lies can range from small distortions of the truth to complete falsehoods that have the potential to cause significant harm. When someone constantly resorts to lying, it not only compromises trust but also indicates a lack of respect for others and the reality of situations. For example, imagine discovering that a coworker has been spreading false information about your contributions to work projects. Initially, it might seem like a misunderstanding, but when the pattern repeats, it becomes clear that there is an intention to manipulate perceptions to favor themselves or harm others. This type of behavior is a red flag that the person may not have scruples about using dishonesty to achieve their goals. Frequent lies can also occur in personal relationships. If a partner often alters the truth about where they've been or who they've been with, it can indicate deeper issues of trust and integrity. This pattern of dishonesty creates an unstable foundation for any relationship, leading to doubts and insecurities that can be emotionally exhausting. Moreover, lying repeatedly about small things can be equally problematic. This may indicate an ingrained habit of manipulation or an inability to deal with the truth even in circumstances that do not require deceit. Such behavior can leave friends and family members constantly on guard, unable to relax and trust what the person says. To deal with someone who lies frequently, it's important to keep a mental or even written record of incidents that raise suspicions. This can help confirm whether there is indeed a pattern of dishonesty. Confronting the person with evidence might be a necessary step, although it's essential to do so calmly and objectively to avoid escalating the conflict. Finally, it's crucial to assess the impact of these lies on your own life and well-being. In some cases, it might be necessary to reevaluate or even end the relationship with someone who continues to be dishonest despite the consequences. Protecting yourself from harmful influences is a fundamental step in maintaining mental and emotional health. Identifying and understanding the impact of frequent lies is essential for making informed decisions about how to deal with individuals who may be causing more harm than good in your life. Sign 4. Subtle manipulation. Subtle manipulation is an alarming sign that you may be dealing with a bad person. Manipulators are masters at using words and actions to influence others in ways that are not immediately obvious. This behavior is dangerous because it can be hard to detect, and often the victims may feel confused, insecure, or even guilty without fully understanding why. A classic example of subtle manipulation can occur in a relationship where one party frequently makes you feel obligated to do things against your will using guilt or shame as tools. For instance, a partner might say something like, "After everything I've done for you, you won't do this for me," pressuring you to fulfill their wishes without considering your feelings or needs. In the workplace, subtle manipulation can take the form of a colleague who subtly takes credit for your ideas or constantly puts you in compromising situations. They might do this in such a disguised manner that when you try to confront or explain the situation to others, it seems like you are overreacting or misinterpreting things. Additionally, subtle manipulators are adept at changing narratives to fit their interests. They may distort facts or omit information in a way that makes the truth hazy, leaving others confused or uncertain about what really happened. This is particularly harmful because it can destabilize trust between people and within groups, creating an environment of distrust and anxiety. To deal with subtle manipulation, it's crucial to develop strong self-awareness and confidence in your perceptions. Keep a mental or written record of situations that seem manipulative and try to identify patterns. Talking to a trusted friend or counselor about your experiences can also help validate your perceptions and decide how to act. Confronting a manipulator can be challenging, but it's important to do so assertively and clearly. Set firm boundaries and communicate directly about what is and isn't acceptable to you. This can not only discourage future manipulation but also protect your emotional and psychological integrity. Recognizing and understanding subtle manipulation is essential to avoid becoming a victim of this destructive behavior. By staying vigilant and proactive in your communication and interactions, you can protect yourself and promote a healthier and more respectful environment, both personally and professionally. Sign 5. Consistent disrespect. One of the clear signs that you may be dealing with a bad person is consistent disrespect. When someone frequently shows a lack of consideration for your opinions, feelings, or needs, it is not just rude but also indicative of a problematic character. This can manifest in various forms, from constant interruptions when you speak to derogatory or dismissive comments about your choices and lifestyle. For example, imagine you are in a meeting trying to share your ideas, but a colleague consistently talks over you or dismisses your suggestions without proper consideration. Or think about a situation where a friend or partner constantly makes jokes at your expense, even after you have expressed discomfort with this behavior. This type of continuous disrespect not only undermines your self-esteem but also can leave you feeling invisible and devalued. Disrespect can also extend to not acknowledging your personal boundaries. If someone consistently ignores or crosses limits you have set, such as times for contact or respecting your need for personal space, It shows a lack of respect for your autonomy. This invasive behavior is a way of invalidating your ability to make decisions about your own life. To deal with consistent disrespect, it is essential to be assertive in your interactions. Clearly communicate your feelings and boundaries. For instance, you might say, "I feel disrespected when you interrupt me, and I would appreciate it if you could let me finish speaking." It's also helpful to document instances of disrespect, especially in professional settings, as this can provide evidence if you need to escalate the issue to higher authorities or HR departments. If the disrespect persists despite your efforts to address it, you might need to reconsider the nature of your relationship with the person involved. Sometimes, limiting or even cutting off contact with consistently disrespectful individuals is necessary to protect your well-being. Surrounding yourself with respectful and supportive people is crucial for maintaining healthy self-esteem and emotional health. Recognizing consistent disrespect is vital for taking proactive steps to ensure that you are treated with the dignity and respect you deserve. By setting clear boundaries and advocating for yourself, you can foster healthier and more supportive interactions in all areas of your life. Sign 6. Victim mentality. A person who frequently adopts a victim mentality is another clear indicator that you might be dealing with a bad person. This mentality involves constantly seeing themselves as the victim in any situation, regardless of the circumstances, and using this perspective to manipulate and control others. They may refuse to take responsibility for their actions and instead blame others for their problems, creating a toxic environment. For example, imagine a coworker who never accepts responsibility for mistakes and always blames others when things go wrong. Even when evidence clearly shows they were at fault, they twist the narrative to make it seem like they were the one who was wronged. This behavior not only creates tension and distrust but also makes it difficult to resolve issues constructively. In personal relationships, a person with a victim mentality might frequently remind you of how they have been wronged in the past, using these stories to elicit sympathy and avoid accountability for their current actions. For instance, a partner might constantly bring up past relationships where they were hurt, using this as an excuse for their current negative behaviors and expecting you to accommodate their needs unconditionally. This constant portrayal of themselves as a victim can be exhausting for those around them. It often leads to one-sided relationships where the person with a victim mentality receives most of the attention and emotional support, while giving little in return. To deal with someone who has a victim mentality, it's important to set firm boundaries and encourage accountability. Encourage them to take responsibility for their actions and focus on solutions rather than dwelling on problems. This can be done by calmly and consistently pointing out the facts and avoiding getting drawn into their narrative of blame and victimhood. It's also important to protect your own emotional well-being. Limit your exposure to their negative influence and seek support from others who can offer a more balanced perspective. Recognizing a victim mentality in someone you interact with is crucial for maintaining your own mental and emotional health. By setting clear boundaries and encouraging accountability, you can protect yourself from the manipulative and draining effects of this toxic behavior, fostering healthier and more balanced relationships. Sign 7. Narcissistic behavior. Narcissistic behavior is a strong sign that you might be dealing with a bad person. Narcissism involves an excessive preoccupation with oneself, a lack of empathy for others, and a constant need for admiration and validation. This type of behavior can be extremely damaging to those around the narcissist, leading to manipulative and abusive dynamics. For example, a narcissistic person might constantly seek attention and praise, always wanting to be the center of attention. In a social setting, they may dominate conversations, disregard others' opinions, and become visibly upset or hostile if they feel ignored or criticized. This relentless focus on their own needs and desires often leaves little room for considering the feelings or needs of others. In personal relationships, a narcissist might exhibit controlling and manipulative behavior. They might use charm and flattery to win someone over initially, only to later demand constant attention and admiration while offering little in return. If their partner fails to meet these demands, the narcissist may resort to emotional manipulation, such as guilt-tripping or gaslighting, to maintain control. Narcissists also tend to have a grandiose sense of self-importance. They may exaggerate their achievements and talents, expecting others to recognize and celebrate their perceived superiority. This can create an environment where others feel devalued and constantly strive to meet the unrealistic standards set by the narcissist. To deal with narcissistic behavior, it's important to maintain strong personal boundaries and avoid getting drawn into their self-centered world. This can be challenging, as narcissists are often very persuasive and skilled at manipulating emotions. However, it's crucial to prioritize your own well-being and not allow their behavior to undermine your self-esteem. Communicating assertively and calmly about your needs and boundaries is essential. For instance, you might say, I feel uncomfortable when the conversation is always about your achievements. Can we talk about something else? It's also helpful to limit your interactions with the narcissist and seek support from others who understand the dynamics and can offer a more balanced perspective. Recognizing narcissistic behavior is crucial for protecting yourself from the manipulative and harmful effects of this toxic dynamic. By setting clear boundaries and maintaining a focus on your own needs and well-being, you can navigate interactions with narcissists more effectively and maintain healthier, more balanced relationships.